Joining us tonight to talk more about the latest developments in the trial is Dr. Wendy Patrick. She is a legal analyst and career trial attorney. Wendy, the prosecution and defense have both laid out their cases. Closing arguments, as Brian said, begin on Monday. Walk us through what you think the prosecution and defense will highlight to bolster their case before this jury.
Yeah, Marnie, it's a great question because think about this. We've just seen a wild ride. We started with trauma week 1, training week 2. We went from the clinical, we moved to the emotional, and then back to the clinical cause of death. Closing argument is going to be the opportunity for both sides to really remind the jury of what they saw along the way. Now, the prosecution is probably going to begin as dramatically as they did in week 1, talking about the bystanders. What did they see? What did they feel? What did they experience? Moving to the type of training that Mr. Chauvin had, that he should have known better than to have that 9-minute, 29 seconds of video burned into our minds over the course of the last year. But then they're also going to focus on the issues the jury has to consider. Cause of death, and did Derek Chauvin cause the death? So was it a heart attack? Was it a pre-existing condition? Or was it those 9 minutes and 29 seconds? I mean, both sides made it clear from the beginning where their paths diverged, shall we say, and that's what both closing arguments are going to focus on.
The former officer, as we've said, chose not to testify today in his defense. Did that surprise you?
In a sense, because it was his opportunity to humanize himself in front of that jury. Let's face it, Marnie, there's one person and one person alone in that courtroom that knows what was going through Derek Chauvin's mind during that fateful 9 minutes and 29 seconds, and that's Mr. Chauvin. So you can imagine the jury was hoping that he would take the stand and explain himself. But what would that have done? That would have opened him up to cross-examination, and he might not have come out the other side looking too good. That's no doubt what he and his legal team discussed behind the scenes. And I mean, I'm a prosecutor now, but I started my career as a criminal defense attorney. And I understand that although that's the defendant's choice, that can be a real strategy call after the rest of the evidence is in.
We're in the final hours now. Help us understand what we should expect in terms of the deliberation. I think the key question here is the jury trying to answer for both sides. Is he guilty of what he's accused of?
That's right. So the jury has options in a case like this. Remember that the charges include second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter, all of which sort of hinge on this intent aspect of the trial that Mr. Chauvin didn't get a chance to explain. So because, I mean, they didn't even get to see him with his mask off when he took the fifth. So they really know very little about what he was thinking other than what they can deduce from the circumstantial evidence. So that is going to be what both closing arguments consist of. What did the circumstantial evidence, the bystanders, the medical experts, what did the rest of the witnesses bring to the scene to where the jury can infer what level of intent ex-officer Chauvin had, because that is when they're going to be able to decide which of the 3 charges is he guilty of, or is he guilty of all 3.
Wendy, how long do you anticipate deliberation will take, and is there anything to read into if the verdict is quick or if it takes some time?
You know, if you had asked me that early on in my career, I would have said a quick verdict means they voted for the prosecution. But then you remember the O.J. Simpson verdict. That was 3 hours and it was an acquittal. I would expect that they would really take their time going through this evidence because they've got 3 charges, each of which requires a different level of intent. I'd be surprised if they came back in anything less than a couple of days. I really think they're going to give this evidence a close look because they understand how important their job is.
All eyes on Minnesota tonight. Dr. Wendy Patrick, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Marnie.